Back when I worked at Best Buy and I was selling home theater systems, it was a great training ground for sales because I had no commissions to worry about. It was just like, how do I move these products? And one of the things that I learned was it was back in like the Amazon boom, really. And it was Best Buy, big box stores was a showroom, a glorified showroom. And people would come in and see their TVs and they'd go buy it online. Well, it almost inevitably, I loved walking around and seeing people looking at a three or four or $5,000 TV because they felt like they needed that. Well, one of the things that I had was a sales sheet, and what reason why it ties into this was I know a lot of insurance agents will send out the quote sheet, the quote proposal, and let the client figure it out. What I always did was I wanted to identify the savings and value I could provide for that client. So a lot of times, and I always had, it was all in that, obviously it's the experience. So I had a TV that my go-to TV, it was always on sale for $700. It was a Sharp Aquos, very nice TV, four HDMI inputs. It had all the bells and whistles, but the screen was made in the same factory as that Samsung that they were looking at, but it had motion controls and everything else. I had that TV hooked to an HK soundbar. I'd bring up it. Can I show you something? I'd be like, oh yeah, sure. I'd take them over to the Sharp. It was always the Batman, the Dark Knight. That was my go-to video. Show them the picture. It would be playing on the HK soundbar. They'd be like, what is that? And I'd show them that. Next thing I know, I'm getting them into a Sharp $700 TV. I'm writing this on my sales sheet. Um, Sharp $700 TV, $500 soundbar. Oh, here's the cables you need for that soundbar. Don't forget a Blu-ray player if you want to take advantage of that picture. And I'm starting to build this solution, and I haven't even touched their $3,000 price point that they were willing to accept. I already knew they were willing to pay $3,000. Next thing you know, I've got the 4-year Geek Squad on the soundbar, 4-year Geek Squad protection on the TV, and they haven't even spent even close to what they were going to spend. Now, the secret to that, and it sold every time, was the sales sheet. How does that translate to insurance? Identify your savings and your solution to the client. Don't send them a quote proposal and let them figure out themselves. Identify what you are doing for them and show it to them, whether it's a pre-canned email, maybe it's a chart like this one. Let them see. Maybe it has, oh, by the way, these are coverages that I feel like you probably should have and are important that you didn't have previously. Show, like, identify the value and savings for them. And this is like a great way to do it.
Yeah, I think they totally are. And if you have a circumstance like TJ illustrates here, where one line of business is more, you don't hide it, right? You say, hey, you'll notice this, but here's why this still makes sense for you to do. And my dad always says that sales, and he heard this from someone else, sales is a transfer of feeling. If you have confidence that this is the best way for you to go. And by the way, you might say, and you might wonder, what if I just took the home instead of the auto? And you say, if we did that, the home would go up, by this amount. You just cover those things, and people say, oh, okay, all right, I just wanted to know, So anyway, I think we see that as an opportunity where a lot of agents can improve. So whether it's you or you have people in your office, you should always be asking more than once, even for that other line of business.
I think it's important to point out, all of my co-salesmen there used to laugh. They're like, TJ, you never sell big ticket TVs. I was like, well, you never make this company money because all of the margin was in the accessories and the Blu-ray players and the speakers and stuff like that. There was literally like maybe $15 margin on all the TVs. So,
well, and on top of that, the customer walked out. They walked out with a great experience, right? They've got a great experience as opposed to big TV with tinny little sound or whatever.
The referrals that came off of that and things like that, just people like, man, this guy TJ at Best Buy, and people would come in and be like, oh, you helped my friend the other day, he got X, Y, and Z. It literally just builds on itself, and the word spreads. Like, people will talk about it if you provide an experience. And you can do that in insurance. I understand insurance is a little more boring, but if you think about it, what you exchange for like fun and like this is the experience you can have, the stakes are higher in insurance. Like, imagine what you won't have to deal with. You know what I mean? If this claim happens or whatever it may be. So definitely.
That's a really great point there. The stakes are much higher than a television. And I think if people can understand why they bought what they bought, why they got the package, why they increase, hey, look, I can save you money here and I'm increasing your liability coverage and so forth, they can just feel like that was really great, as opposed to just, I wanted a home quote, yours was $40 cheaper and that's it. Which customer is going to stick around the longest?